Hey folks, walk with me. Well, being that we've been going on all of these walks lately, and yes, I do intend to continue this through the fall and through the winter, and I'm sure there will be plenty of walks that we'll have that will be in the snow. I know some folks are interested in that, and undoubtedly one of these days we're gonna get caught in the rain. But I tried to do a couple or a few of these in sort of like one outing, so that if need be, I can avoid serious inclement weather. Wow. I'm low on sleep, but in any case, so this will continue to be a thing for the foreseeable future. I don't know if I can continue to think of things to talk about every day. I was thinking about this earlier. There's 365 things over the next year, but maybe, we'll see. So, walking. I wanted to just mention that because the video that we're walking and talking is about walking. There's a book out there, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. I got it from my local library, and I will try to find a link to it and put it in the description below. But it's called, I'm pretty sure, 52 Ways to Walk. And it sort of gives you an idea of a way to walk or a way in which to walk. And I think the concept is do one of these walks, or at least one of these walks, once a week for the duration of the 52 weeks. And I'm gonna start this sometime soon. The first walk that they list, I'm pretty sure it's the first one that they list, is walk in the cold. And so I'm waiting for it to get chillier. You see, I do have my getting some of my fall gear on here, but we're not really quite to bundle up and be actively cold yet. It still is quite mild in the day. But I'm waiting for, the cold snap to come, if you will, in order to kick off doing one walk per week that is just focused on the chapter for that week. So it's broken out into chapters. So we'll be doing some of those as the walk, but I would definitely recommend taking a look at it if you are interested in walking, which sounds like a weird thing to say, or if you do walk, or trying to get into it and need something to sort of spice it up or something else to kind of motivate you, if you will. There's some interesting things in there about, like I said, there's walk in the cold, but there's things that are sort of like taking into account your other senses. Like there's either one or two that are based on finding different smells. And so going for your walk and really paying attention to the smells that you smell. And it's funny because as I'm saying it, I'm noticing it here where I really wasn't before, but we are very into the fall at the moment. We have some leaves changing. I don't know if you can see. There's some leaves changing, and we have had some sort of like cooler kind of overnight dew, where in the summer that doesn't really happen, but the dewiness at night comes in. And then on days, today's very sunny, but this area where I am right now is very sort of canopy. You see, kind of blocks out the sky there. And so the smell that I have in here right now is still sort of remnants of that morning dew, and it's well into the afternoon at this point. It very much smells crisp, clean, fall air that you would anticipate to have in the midst of a little forest. And that little bit of moisture really brings out all of the aromas for sure. It's a beautiful smell. But I'm getting really far afoot here. But so the book is sort of, in this vein, and they take the chapter, which is week 1, 2, 3, whatever, sort of list out straight away the purpose of that week or what your walk is sort of geared toward. And then there's like probably a 3 to 5 page little exploration of what it could look like. Because if you just had it, sort of on a list, you might not really grasp the concept or even consider how many different ways in which the concept of that walk could take shape, right? Like the smell one, like what are some different ways that could sort of develop? And what are some things I could pay attention to? Some locations that I can consider that might give me sort of like the best of this experience. So I would definitely recommend taking it. And if you haven't seen my video on your local library is cooler than you realize, or whatever the title of that video is, go to your local library. And I don't know that they'll have it. Maybe you can request it, like to get sent over from a neighboring library or what have you. But of course, I'm sure that it exists for sale online somewhere. Or you could wait. And when I do kick those off with the first cold walk, then you can do it with me. So you can just wait and we can do it together that way. But yeah, it's a really cool book, and it's nice to think about sort of some ways in which it gives you different activities to really kind of engross yourself in the walk in a different or in a deeper way. And also there are, now that I'm remembering, there's some chapters about sort of the structural or the physiological flow of joint movement and foot placement and things like that. So there's some ways in which you walk for that week that are sort of a way to, if you want to say properly walk, or to improve your stride in your walk. And then I think that there are some ways that you could, they play with that a little bit, right? Where it's not like, this is the most like kinesthetically sound way to do this movement, but we're going to manipulate, the right way to have your foot strike the ground and so on and so forth. We're going to manipulate that in a way that's going to let us play with it, right? And intentionally do it in a sort of more creative way, and have that sort of like be at the forefront of the purpose there, is walking creatively. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that as part of this overall series. I think it should be enjoyable, hopefully. Not just for me, but for you. And I'll have to figure out when exactly we're gonna put those out, if it's gonna be the same day of the week each time, or if it will vary and just sort of fall somewhere in the week, but we'll figure that out. I suspect I have a solid month or more, maybe 4 to 8 weeks, depending on what happens with the weather, before we'd really get that week number 1 walk in the cold underway. I'm pretty sure there's also, which this is something that I do already as often as I can, or as often as I can remember, is a barefoot walk, which there's a lot of stuff out there you could take a look at or research or see if it sort of like connects with you. But the barefoot walk, actually, since I tied in the library video, the barefoot walk sort of ties into, I think, the very last episode that I did, which was about like calming the body down when you're sort of in a panic attack or feeling yourself embroiled in panic, and the body, the physical responses to that, and some ways in which you might be able to kind of reconnect to, reground yourself in your body. But the barefoot walking, I find, actually I forgot to mention this in that video, the barefoot walking I do find to oftentimes have almost this therapeutic feeling effect on me, like letting yourself be skin to grass, you know, skin to soil. Yeah, I mean, you talk about connection, being grounded. That's very literally that, right? Connecting yourself down directly to the earth without a layer of whatever in between the bottom of your foot and the ground itself. And so, yeah, very, very literally grounding and connecting in that sense. So I'm looking forward to that barefoot one. I'll have to find a good place to walk because I don't really want to do it like on a path. But I have some good options for sort of a dirt path, if you will, not a paved path at least. So speaking of, we're coming up on 11 minutes. So if you walked with me, you got in 11 minutes. So good on you for that. If you didn't, not bad on you for that. But thanks for watching to the end. No matter how it is that you're watching or what you're doing while you're watching, I certainly appreciate it. All right, folks, I will see you in the next video.